The courtroom doors opened, and in walked a woman whose attitude filled the room before her voice did. Her name was Karen. She carried herself like the world revolved around her. Chin lifted, eyes hidden behind oversized sunglasses, and a designer handbag clutched tightly under her arm. The clicking of her heels echoed across the quiet courtroom floor. It wasn't just a walk, and it was a statement. She didn't glance around, didn't greet anyone, didn't acknowledge the judge's bench. To her, this was just another inconvenience, another day to show off her defiance. When she finally sat down, she crossed her arms and exhaled loudly, as if everyone else's time was hers to waste. The audience shifted in their seats, sensing the tension before the case even began. Judge Judy entered with her usual no-nonsense energy, her gaze sharp and commanding. Karen barely looked up. The contrast was striking, Judy's authority against Karen's arrogance. And then, across from Karen, sat the man she was up against, a quiet, older gentleman with silver hair and calm eyes that seemed to have seen far more than this courtroom. His name was Mr. Thompson. He didn't bring a lawyer, didn't bring drama, just himself and a small folder of papers resting on his lap. When Judy took her seat, the room fell completely silent, except for the faint rustle of papers. The air carried that familiar mix of curiosity and suspense, the kind that makes people hold their breath before the storm. Judy looked up. "All right," she said. "Let's get started." Karen smirked. She had already decided how this would go. Another case where she'd talk her way out. Maybe play the victim, maybe twist a few facts. But her opponent wasn't an ordinary person. Mr. Thompson's quiet composure was almost unnerving. He sat perfectly still, hands folded, eyes steady. He wasn't angry. He wasn't defensive. He was just grounded. When he spoke, his voice was low but steady, filled with sincerity. "Your Honor," he began, "I'm not here for money. I just want her to understand the damage she caused. And the way she spoke to me." His words hung in the air like weight. Karen immediately rolled her eyes. "Oh, here we go," she muttered under her breath, loud enough for everyone to hear. Judy's eyes darted up instantly. She noticed everything, the tone, the attitude, the disrespect. Karen wasn't here to resolve anything. She was here to win, or at least humiliate. But Judy wasn't someone you could manipulate with theatrics. Mr. Thompson continued, explaining how his property was damaged after a dispute in the neighborhood, and how, when he confronted Karen, she mocked him, calling him names, belittling his age, even mocking his military service. The audience's mood shifted. That one word, military, changed everything. A few gasps broke out. Karen leaned back, arms crossed, smirking. "He's exaggerating," she snapped. "He's always talking about his service like it's supposed to mean something now." Her words cut through the courtroom like broken glass. The moment she said it, you could feel the entire room freeze. Judge Judy's expression went cold. Not angry yet, but something even sharper. The kind of silence that comes before an explosion. Karen seemed proud of her statement, as if she had proven her point. She continued, "I mean, come on. He's just some old guy who takes everything too seriously. I was joking. People need to stop being so sensitive." But it wasn't a joke. It was disrespect, pure and simple. The man she mocked had worn a uniform, carried the weight of his country on his shoulders, seen things she couldn't imagine, and here she was, laughing at his sacrifice. Mr. Thompson didn't respond. He didn't need to. His silence was powerful, more powerful than any defense. His eyes said it all, disappointment, not anger, hurt, not hatred. Judge Judy leaned forward slowly, folding her hands on the bench. Her voice dropped in tone, calm but dangerous. "Excuse me, ma'am," she said. "Did I just hear you correctly?" Karen shrugged. "I'm just saying, people need to stop acting like being in the military makes them special." That was it. The spark that lit the fire. Judy took a deep breath. Her eyes narrowed. And then she spoke the words that would soon echo across the internet. "Let me tell you something," Judy began. Her tone was slow, deliberate, and razor-sharp. "That old guy you're talking about, that man you're mocking, wore a uniform so you could have the freedom to roll your eyes in this courtroom today." The room went dead silent. Every camera caught it. Every face turned toward her. Even Karen's smirk disappeared for the first time. Judy didn't raise her voice. She didn't need to. Every word landed like a hammer. "You may not respect him," she continued, "but this court does. And as long as you're in my courtroom, you will, too." The audience couldn't hold back a gasp. Karen looked away, suddenly finding the floor more interesting than anything else. Judge Judy wasn't done. "You see, ma'am," she said, pointing toward Mr. Thompson. "People like him made sacrifices you'll never understand. Sacrifices so people like you could have the luxury to be ungrateful. And what you call the past is the reason you even have a future." The veteran's eyes welled slightly, but he stayed composed. Karen's face softened. For once, she had no comeback. Just silence. Then came a moment few had ever seen in Judy's courtroom. She turned to Mr. Thompson. "Sir," she said, her voice gentler now, "thank you for your service. You've shown more dignity and patience in 5 minutes here than most people show in a lifetime." The audience broke into spontaneous applause, something Judy rarely allowed. It wasn't a show. It was respect. Mr. Thompson nodded humbly, whispering a simple, "Thank you, Your Honor." Karen's eyes dropped to her lap. She wasn't laughing anymore. Her arrogance had finally met something it couldn't overpower. Truth. Judy closed the case swiftly, ruling in favor of the veteran. But it wasn't the verdict that made headlines. It was that speech. Within hours, the clip spread across social media like wildfire. Millions watched, shared, and commented. Veterans groups reposted it, students quoted it, families sent it to their kids as a reminder about humility and respect. "This is why I love Judge Judy," one user wrote. Another said, "She didn't just win the case, she restored dignity." People everywhere connected with the message, respect isn't demanded, it's earned. And when someone tries to take it away, justice will find its way back. Karen's mocking tone became a meme, but not the kind that brings fame. It became a symbol of misplaced arrogance, while Judy's response became a masterclass in grace and authority. Even news outlets covered it. Headlines read, "Judge Judy silences Karen who mocked war veteran." In the end, it wasn't just a courtroom moment. It was a reminder to an entire generation watching behind their screens that character still matters, that the world may change, but respect for sacrifice should never fade. Mr. Thompson left the courtroom quietly, the same way he entered, calm, composed, humble. But this time, everyone stood as he passed. The once silent veteran now carried the respect of millions, and somewhere in that courtroom, Karen sat in silence, finally learning a lesson no law book could teach, that sometimes the harshest verdict isn't the one written on paper, it's the one delivered by the truth.